Hello and welcome to the Rhythm Factory. I'm Eddie C, and together with my co-host Peter D, we're going to bring you in touch with people in and around the music business. This is the podcast that takes you up close and personal. Hi, my name is Eddie C, and welcome to the Rhythm Factory podcast, the podcast that takes you up close and personal. To my right, my colleague, Mr. Peter D. Today we've got two very special guests and also dear friends that I've known for a long time, and we've done some tours together, some festivals together, and worldwide, and nice warm climates and everything. We have Saskia Laroo, who's known to a lot of people as the Miss Miles Davis of the female trumpet players, and we've got brother Mr. Byrd, fantastic jazz musician, philosopher about jazz and black music, and I'd like to welcome you both on the show today.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Now it's always great. We always have a fun time together whenever we doing a festival circuit or whatever, and we don't get to play that often together. But when we do, it's always a ball.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm sure a lot of our listeners are going to question, how did this blonde lady from out Holland and this brother from another mother from out the States get together and create a beautiful music collaboration. Can you all tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Well,
well, let's hear from Miss Laroo, the wondrous Sunny.
well, I was invited to do some concerts in America, in Hartford, Connecticut, and this man was in the backing band. And that's how I met him. And the thing was that he was playing the keyboards, the piano, the grand piano, but we had a really loud guitarist, and he was so loud that I couldn't hear him, but I only saw him playing, but he was, really pounding the keys with a lot of intensity.
Right.
And I was thinking, oh, that is so special. I want to hear this man, so I want to have a duo performance with him. So I asked the promoter, can I have a duo with this pianist? And the promoter was really surprised, like, huh? She wants to have a duo with Byrd. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want. And so actually a few months later, we were able to organize that.
Right.
And that was really great to our enormous satisfaction. And I invited him to come to the Netherlands for the summer to do about 13 concerts on festivals. And, the rest is history.
It became a real rounded off affair, as we would say.
Yeah.
Musically,
became a real duo.
Yeah.
That's right, a dynamic duo, indeed.
Fantastic.
And I mean, for whatever it's worth, when I first met her, I said, who is this character? This lady who
was
playing trumpet and using electronics and dancing around on stage wearing sexy clothes, doing this music. Who is this character? And of course, I was in an interesting place at the time, and I was pursuing all things very arcane and jazz-ational, and so in a lot of ways, she really opened me up to some new ways of looking at myself and at music, because, all right, now music, jazz, creativity can be funky too.
Right.
And I mean, of course, I had always been eclectic, but to conflate really serious jazz with this funky presentation was a brand new experience for me.
Wow.
And I think it was a very necessary step,
Okay. Yeah, because I know you're old school cat, brother.
In many ways.
Yeah, well, that's I got a question for you, Warren. You started out in a church choir at the age of 4, I believe.
I was very young, yes.
Yeah, and you developed a passion for jazz and big band music. Now, we read an article lately that jazz, seems to be the least popular style of music in the States nowadays. What is your opinion about it, and does it have an effect on the way you make music or the way you write music or compose music?
Well, you know, the interesting thing is to look at the historical narrative of jazz music, which is that for a very long time it was the music of black folks. Very interesting article came out recently, penned by T.S. Monk, the son of Thelonious Monk.
Yeah, right.
And he talks about this very thing, which is that, I mean, for whatever it's worth, jazz started to, so to speak, die in the popular mind because at some point it became more than just, it became less of a music you could relate to physically and more of a music you had to think about.
Right.
And black folks back in the old days danced to all kinds of jazz music. It wasn't just swing that they danced to. And they were always waiting for the latest recordings and the most current artists, all the way up until about 1964, when a certain group seemed to take the American market by storm that came from England. And then, oops, you weren't supposed to say that. But even then, it had sort of enjoyed a good deal of popularity. I think it's hard to really narrow it down to a very few words. However,
Well,
I think
you got the stage to speak.
However, I think it's important to understand that jazz is not dead because the sensibility lives inside of all this creativity that goes on and gets distilled into a very marketable product. So I feel that as a jazz musician, I'm sort of helping to keep alive like what's really underneath a lot of great American music.
Jazz can still be fun.
That's right. Jazz can still be fun, and it's very necessary for music to be fun in general. And yeah. So.
And jazz is still evolving, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on.
That's right.
Cats taking it to a different level, and you know, so.
And a young generation of jazz musicians. I mean, well, if you that sort of like out there, they've infused the whole thing together. If you take, for example, a group like Snarky Puppy, they're fantastic young guys, you know, and they're making this whole music scene come alive again.
That's right.
Which is a beautiful thing, beautiful thing. And kids in school are starting to pick up on jazz as well, you know.
Absolutely.
And there's a young generation of new youth coming up, learning to play jazz music and to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole thing, is to get people to listen. I mean, one of the reasons why we do this show is to expose all elements of the music, so that people can know, well, there's more than just, you know, having your face in a magazine or as a pop musician or whatever kind of musician. There's a story. Everyone here has a story to tell and to share with others. And then I'm very honored to have you on this show with us.
Well,
So,
we're very
thank you
happy.
very much.
It's
to be here.
fantastic. You know, Saskia, you know, when we met on the music scene so many years ago. And I remember when we first played together, my first gig with you was not as a trumpet player, but you were playing double bass.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, that was the music instrument I started with, actually.
Okay.
Not totally, but it was like when I was like...
You were cornet. You played cornet.
Cornet, yes.
Originally, but then you went over to double bass.
No, it was like I played the cello, and then for 3 years, but then I wanted to play the guitar because the cello was not hip anymore, and I was 15. I wanted to play the guitar, and I was all the time playing the trumpet in the brass band. But the thing was, when I was 18 and studied mathematics in Amsterdam, I discovered, you know, the music scene, and I discovered that just learning a few songs you could get gigs and make a living. And I was thinking, hey, this is so cool. So I learned a bunch of songs, you know, on the trumpet, and I went to sessions and tried to sit in with bands, and they wouldn't give me a gig, you know. And I was like, this is not nice. I want to gig. So I was thinking, you know what? I'm just going to play another instrument that they have a shortage of, demand. So I was looking at playing drums or upright bass. And I could borrow an upright bass, and I didn't have a car because I didn't have a driver's license yet because I was only 18 years old. Right. So I started to practice the hell out of the bass for 3 months. And after 3 months, I went to a session, got a gig right away. I was like, oh, this is easy. So then after that, I was also accepted on trumpet. But then by that time, I was thinking, I'm now also a bass player. I got to take it serious and continue. And to this day, I'm still playing the bass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things to do, too, is to man more than one instrument well. And
Absolutely.
She's been really working hard to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's like it's a
I love the bass.
Head game, I keep wondering how it's possible for someone to be for instance, a good actor.
Right.
And act in a whole bunch of plays or movies.
Right.
And then be a good musician too. And I think my only answer is they had to learn to do one well first, and then step over to the other one.
And there's also, I think it's also a question if you got it in your genes. If you feel it, and you got the understanding. I think for an instrument as well is that once you pick up the feel for it and you really want to play that instrument, the ABCs kind of like fizz together so that and then the notes come. I mean, and the rest is just a question of passion and practice.
That's right.
And the basic principles are probably the same.
Absolutely.
The same as with music and acting. It's being creative, and it comes from the same source, I guess. Yeah. So once you know how to tap into that, I think it works the same for other things as well. But you still got to master an instrument, right? That's technique. Right. Technique will be probably a lot different on a bass than on it is different, of course.
Yes, but I think it's a matter of defining what roles do the different instruments have, and as an actor as well. And for me, it was an enormous great learning experience. To be in the rhythm section in the back, like in the trumpet you're in the front, you have to lead, you're taking the show, and when you accompany, make the other sound good. Right. It's another role.
Gives you a 3D perspective about the whole balance of all the music together,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it's easier for you to translate to the band members what you need from them.
Yes.
Because you know that you are you were in a position to play the upright bass and be in a company, musician.
Exactly, because Miles, I'm always going back to Miles Davis. He always was, but he was more listening to the drummer. But he was always talking to the rhythm section what he wanted from them,
Yeah, your music. We'll just go back to the music, our musical roots.
Roots is all right with me, man.
No, but Warren, you started also in the church, basically with your music, just like I did, and
you did too.
Yeah. And the important thing is like we were talking about that thing falling away with the jazz music. And what was your experience coming over to Europe, and being able to take all the background, that musical luggage with you, and bring that into plugging it into the European market here.
Well, it was interesting because I had already heard so much about what it was like to come over here and experience playing music here. And what it was, I think, a really delight was to find out people knew already what the music was about. And I mean, like,
we're so proud of that.
Really? It's a different kind of thing. I mean, when you start talking about what is organic and what is authentic and what is, what's the real fruit and this is the hydroponic fruit. These are all metaphors.
Right.
But I mean, it was great, and I by this point in time in my life, I had lost the tendency to swagger about where I came from, because I realized that that wasn't always, the best way to go about being.
No, that's right.
But it was cool to just know that I did come from like the authentic root as well, and could bring something here
too.
And that there were some people who could really appreciate that.
Well, it's not for nothing. It actually, jazz music is actually more popular in Europe than it is in the States at the moment, and because all your major festivals that you have here, I mean, even the small towns have their jazz festivals each year, and I've noticed even going to Asia when we were when we were in Thailand. It's amazing that people there seem to appreciate the art form that comes from out America, those roots coming from America, and I'm hoping that there in the future a turnaround starts to come, that people kind of not really necessarily bring back the old school, but begin to understand it, to fuse it into some of the new music, and
that's hard.
And that's hard.
Very hard.
But I think it's there. I think one of the things that I've come to accept is that there's always room for change, and within change there's always a seed of what has come before. In terms of the subject of talking popularity of jazz in America, I think it's much more palpable here. Right. Even when you look at the statistics, the statistics don't really tell you, in terms of record sales and even concert turnouts and all that, what's really going on. I think the appreciation for artistic mastery is much more advanced here in Europe, and perhaps even outside of the United States. Than it is in America in a very direct way. Although Americans are not dumb about good art and good artistic mastery. No. It's very complicated to look at the market strategies and indicators and come to this conclusion. However, you can see these things in the attitude. I mean, there's some places where jazz is respected and it's given a certain place, and where jazz is revered and it's given this place, and where some people just don't know what that is all about, and it's just totally foreign.
Well, really did touch back on that subject that we, watching the Grammy Awards, for example. That's an example where they have, let's say, the pre-show where they give out the jazz awards. Nobody's in the hall. No. Nobody's there. Because you got these kind of behind the scene, the pre-show camera, pre-shows that they give you can only watch on the internet, so they're not on television. So you don't know who got a jazz album or who got, a new coming jazz artist, and so you're like, they've taken all of that and they've shoved it to one side. And then with all due respect for the guy, then you get your Kanye Wests and all these guys that, sorry, I'm not a Kanye West fan. I'm saying it. Making it public.
I like it.
I'm not a Kanye West fan.
I like it.
Well, that's good.
You
like it.
You talk about swag. Now that boy's got swag. Okay,
he got more than swag. So if you see this Kanye, sorry, brother, but you're not from my mother.
He's very outspoken. That is
no. But be serious. Let's be serious. The guy has his thing. Yeah. But it's not my cup of tea.
No.
And I'm sure a lot of for the female public that's kind of cool. He does, but all the effects and stuff on the voice and. Let's say if we take away all the visual aspects and we just go purely from the gut music grind, it might be a different situation,
I think he can sing, for real.
I heard him at the Grammy Awards, and I had to turn it off.
Yeah, I understand. Because there's a certain artifice, and it comes from a certain market sensibility, rather than like real
gutty.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say when we went back in the days when you had Ray Charles and you had all of those. I mean,
They
that
are
was
awesome,
singing.
yeah.
There were no pitch controls in the studio to pitch the voice, to correct the voice, like they can do today. They can make almost everybody sing nowadays. And we'll just pitch it, we'll fix it in the mix.
Melodyne became an instrument.
Melodyne has become an instrument. It's become the vocalist for a lot of these vocalists. And you've got special talents out there. I mean, and that really can sing, and are really doing it right. And I'm sure the guys are very talented and business-wise, a very clever guy. So there's the commercial thing there, but we won't stray too much on KW.
Yeah, no, not too much beefing,
Well, let me just put a question in for the both of you.
Yeah.
You were both, involved in a lot of bands and projects, and there's a lot of nice CDs out here. But can you tell us a bit about all the things that you are doing together and apart from each other, and do you have plans for the future, maybe in a collaboration with each other or as soloists?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I'll start. I'll just say that we have collaborated in many different kinds of ways. We've had several tours as just the two of us. And a couple times in Brazil. That was really nice. The first time, Hong Kong, we did some things over there.
And now we're going to India and Bangladesh.
Yeah, you're playing a lot in India, right?
Did a lot of stuff.
Already,
And then, of course, there's this album, which was a lot of fun to do.
Our duo album.
Right.
With just the two of us. I play also upright bass there.
All right.
And now I play also the saxophone, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're busy. You're busy with that as well.
Yeah. Well, I already played it, but I stopped it because too many people were telling me, girl, you should stick to one instrument. And you're doing too much. And I was thinking, okay.
That's the way they said it over here, too.
Yeah, it's a very...
Girl! That doesn't seem very Dutch to me.
No, not really.
No, they say it like this. Meisje, hou je maar bij één instrument.
That sounds Dutch.
That
definitely sounds Dutch.
So I just put down the saxophone, but I picked it up in 2012 again, and now I'm actively incorporated in it in most of my gigs, except for in the big Saskia Laroo band show when I'm with 8 guys on stage, and it's too big and it's too fast of a show, and I'm with my electronics. It's not possible yet to work that in, because then I'm worried, maybe the sound or something like that. But when I'm playing a jazz gig in a cafe, I switch to the sax, because I love to, alternate between the trumpet and the sax now. And but with our duo, Warren plays besides the keyboards or the piano. He sings, of course.
Right.
But he also plays the bongos.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, there was some moments playing the bongos, indeed. I would never call myself a player on your level, or some of these cats I know out here who go deep into African history, or study the Dumbek and from the Middle East and from Indo-European countries, and they know all the claves from
I don't go all that deep either. I play from the
heart.
That's about the best I can do.
Invent it yourself,
So no, but before we go, because we could talk actually for hours,
there's so much stuff about.
Flies. And but before we always ask our guests if they've been through a sort of awkward or funny situation in their careers, or maybe I'm sure you guys have had a lot of funny things happen.
Yeah, many.
I don't know if I can think of anything off the top of my head. I'm bad at that, If we're talking contextually, I can usually come up with something, or I run into something, but
on tours there were a lot of heavy circumstances, like the toilets in Ukraine. I wrote a song called Funky Roads, dedicated to the roads in Poland. I remember one time when we did a tour on the Antilles, and you were not there. It was in 2012, 2000. I didn't know you yet then.
Right.
That the drummer had to play on a drum kit which was with lots of fungus, and because it was not used for a long time.
Oh man!
And it was not complete. And he was complaining, and I said, "Man, don't complain."
Did he put on gloves?
And a mask and all that stuff.
Yeah, man. The whole wetsuit.
But he did play.
Yeah, because I told him.
That's pretty brave, man.
Of course. And I had to fix wires before, with the soldeerapparaat. I don't know how to say that
soldering
in
iron.
Before this show, because the microphones were not working, stuff like that. Or China was...
Oh, man. You just made me think of China when you were talking about the fungus drum.
Yeah.
Because I think, I had to play like a little toy keyboard. And then the drummer had to play like a toy drum. Because they really didn't, they weren't ready, But it was a big hall, too, like a big gymnasium full of youth. Oh, wow. And so, we got through the gig somehow, and I pretended to just have the time of my life on this little toy keyboard.
I always tell the musicians, come on, man, enjoy it and don't act too difficult, be flexible, and otherwise I can't tour with you. I can't hire you to tour with my band. Yeah. And our latest big tour in Zimbabwe, where we also have the CD and a DVD from, we thought, okay, Zimbabwe, the poorest country of the world at the moment, 95% unemployment, and lots of people with AIDS, and terrible. And we thought, okay, what are we going to expect? So I'm preparing the musicians. Don't expect anything. Be flexible. Try to enjoy. Keep on smiling. And we come there, and the festival is like perfect, with beautiful stage, beautiful light, everything like extremely organized on every minute. You have to you have to be there in time, and So
you won't expect that from.
You don't.
No.
No.
Not in Zimbabwe. What you say, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So you never know what to expect, but that's what I love about being in the music profession, because you got to improvise continuously. And that's also what I like, how I like to make my music. I like to combine the ingredients of Kanye West with the Billie Holiday and the Snarky Puppy and all these people. I like to combine it in a big mix and just hope that everybody will find something that they like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's how I like to compose.
That's beautiful.
That's a great way.
Yeah, that's a fantastic way. That's good.
Yeah. Potpourri and all that.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're gonna close off here. We know you've got to go to a gig.
Yes.
So we won't hold you up. We want to wish you all a whole lot of success and other things, and
you too.
And let's do some more collaborating in the
yes,
future.
That would be fun. That would be fun. I remember the last time that we did that thing at the Observant. That was so much fun.
Yeah, man.
It was really cool, man. That was
Those were good times. Well, we're gonna do that again. And you guys ever down in the Belgian way. You come to Antwerp, give me words, man. We're gonna hook up. Try to hook up at the Hopper or something like that.
You dig?
Absolutely. Well, listen, it was a pleasure having Saskia and Warren on our show. And if you want to know any information about them, please go to the Rhythm Factory podcast on Facebook, where we'll have their links to where you can find all of these lovely CDs. Each one has its own sound and personality, but it's still them. And so there's a lot of variation in there. If you want to know more about Saskia and Warren, you can also find the links to their websites. And you can also write me via Twitter at JazzOldMusic. And Peter is?
Twitter at PB Department.
Right. And also you can send us an email at our email address, therhythmfactorypodcast@gmail.com. This was it for this week, and we want to leave you. Actually, we're gonna do it different this time. I'm gonna ask Warren to leave you with some words of wisdom. I'm gonna throw it in your lap this time.
Oh,
brother.
man. Well, my wise words of wisdom to you is always find the fun. No matter how dreary your life is or how much you think it's a drag, always find the fun. It'll take you through.
All right. That's it for this week. Remember, my friend, Mr. Peter D., Saskia Laroo, Mr. Warren Byrd, we want to thank you, and we'll see you another time.